All right, so this is a real style video on why I like Jamboard. I thought I could do 5 reasons, but I think it's more like 3 with subcategories. So here we go. I like to get there by going to jamboard.google.com, but you can get there through your apps launcher. So if you go 3 dots and scroll down, it usually shows up. It looks like this cool looking J. One of my favorite things about it, well, look at this, you can see I use it a lot. I love that the tools are really easy to use. There's only like 4 or 5 options in the tool menu. So unlike slides, which it could be compared to, the kids don't have as many different things that they can mess with. So I'm opening up very slow internet today, a Jamboard that I used with some adults. And we use this with annotating. So what you can see is I have put in, which is one of my things that I love, the background, some text. And what kids can do is use the pen tool, and they can actually change the color and the width. They could even make it a highlighter, and they can use annotation tools, which I think is really cool. We know we can do this in other tools like docs or slides. It's just a little bit simpler in Jamboard. Speaking of tools, this is it over here. This is all that I've got. Let me get my menu out of the way for us here. We have an eraser. I can change the size of the eraser. We have here a sticky note, which again is great for annotations, but this is where a lot of people will say it's a little bit like Padlet. So if it's a collaborative or brainstorming document, you can have all of those Post-it notes go on your frame. So we've got a Post-it note, we've got images that we can add, and we can add images from all sorts of places, just like in the normal Google Suite tools. So upload URL camera, Google Images, Google Drive, or Google Photos. So all of those places, you can put those photos in there. And then we have circles and other shapes that you can do, a text box. And this nifty thing right here is a laser pen that disappears. So that's most useful when you're presenting. So that's it. So that's one of the things I love is the tools are simple and they're pretty dynamic. Another thing that I absolutely love, and there's what are called frames. So instead of what are like, I'm going to switch to the mouse tool here. Slides and Google Slides, we have what are called frames, and you switch them up here. But I'm going to go ahead and actually just add a new frame to the beginning. And you can have as many frames as you want, just like Google Slides. And I'm going to go to that blank frame. One thing I love about Jamboard is the background setting. So I just can go to set background, and you can see they've got a few pre-made things like graph paper, lined paper, and you can upload an image. So it's really cool for exit tickets, entry tickets, bell ringers, things like that. And I know you're going to learn Canva soon. All over the internet, including in Canva, are all of these fun little social and emotional little starters for Jamboard. Like if you search Jamboard template, there's all of these different things that you could, I'm trying to find one that we absolutely would love, grab, or you could edit, here in Jamboard. So I could download this as an image, so a PNG or JPEG, and I know I'm going really fast. The idea is that you can have a background. And then over here on Jamboards in set background, when I upload this, so I'll upload that. Now, when I share this Jamboard to the kids, and this is going to get to my third thing I absolutely love, they can actually just work right on top of it like a Google or a digital worksheet. So they could grab a text box and they could write their main idea here. Jamboard is cool. Maybe they could do Post-it notes. It is really cool. Whatever you want them to do or however they choose to do it, and they could drag it to the correct location. But the idea is that background is the stationary outline. And of course, it doesn't need to be Canva. One of the things I do is I have one Google slideshow where I keep all of my Jamboard backgrounds in one place. So, one of my favorite things is that 3-2-1. So I have just one Google slide that has the 3-2-1 directions on the bottom. Download that as an image, upload it as a JPEG, and boom, we're ready to go. So I've talked about things I love are that the background basically is a real simple way to make these digital worksheets that are dynamic, and the tools are pretty simple. So the next thing I love is that the sharing is just like all Google tools. So we can do the view, edit, or collaborate. And so you can see here, I've shared this one with teachers before. In Google Classroom, when you go to classwork, you can make an assignment. And just like you can add slides, docs, or forms, you can add a Jamboard. And when you add the Jamboard, you get to choose, force a copy for each student. So I'm going to do my sample. Please ignore, just in case I have students that look at this, they're going to think I have to do this. I can go to my drive because I've already created this in Jamboard. It should show up under recents. When I grab it, just like any of those tools, I can give it those permissions so it's super dynamic and super quick for those kids to access. Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. It's getting tired. One tip while this is loading, if you're gonna do, so here we go. Sorry, I'll give you the tip in a second. So here we go. I've got my Jamboard insert. So right now, all they can do is see it, right? I could do edit so they can collaborate, or I can force that copy, which is really cool for those annotations. If you want them to do their own brainstorming activity, anything like that. One tip with the collaboration, if there's a lot of kids on it, all of the post-it notes, or images, every time they add them, it all goes to the same spot to begin with. So it'll all just start stacking here, and that can be real frustrating for kids the first time. So if I'm going to do can edit, the first time, instead of assigning it to all students, like I just did, where did we go? Where are you? Where did you go? Oh, there we are. Okay. Instead of assigning it to all students, I would only assign it to like 3 or 4, then make a new assignment. You know how you can just assign it to a few, and then assign it to 4 more until they get some practice on using Jamboard and familiar with those tools. Okay, so things I love, awesome dynamic tools, the background feature, and the use of it with Google Classroom, I think, are my favorite things. Hope that helps. Have